Good morning, brilliant scholars. Welcome to Corona Day 78. We are closer and closer every day, guys. It is June, and I've actually lost a lot of my seniors. We'll miss them, but we'll start that ceremony tomorrow, so we'll get to say some goodbyes. So let's maybe start with some good news. Take a look at our stat of the day there 2.3%. That is the percent of positive coronavirus cases. Now, that is good in Wisconsin. That is great. Remember the last stat I think I shared with you was either 6 or 5%. So, of the people who got tested, only 2.3 actually are presenting with new cases of coronavirus, which is what we have been hoping. Obviously, when we unlocked down Wisconsin, we thought perhaps there might be a big spike, and we haven't necessarily seen that. So that is good news, especially for those of you who want to get on to a normal summer, perhaps summer school, ACC, and of course, school in the fall. And I think we all agree that we would rather be at school than stuck in our bedrooms watching videos of Mr. Harriet. All right, now for a lot of time when we first started this outbreak, 70 some days ago, I kept talking about how difficult it was to give you guys any news that wasn't coronavirus related. I wish I could kind of go back to that because, man, the news now isn't necessarily good. But of course, depending on how you look at it and what parts of that news you're looking for. So we all know that there was the killing of George Floyd, and there has been protests and riots that erupted in pretty much every major city. As we've talked about before, that does mirror some of the things you've learned in this class. Protests of the 1960s. You would have peaceful protesting from the likes of people like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and then you would have some of these riots that would break out in cities, and different people looked at them different ways. Um, so it is happening. Washington, D.C. was hit pretty hard last night. You can see that graphic in the middle has graffiti on some of the more famous um, monuments that we have, which is very sad, but of course reflects the attitude of some people in this country right now that are not happy, obviously, with things that have happened. So we do go back to the 1960s and remember that they did try to research why were these riots happening. They actually sent out an entire group to figure out what was going on. Why would people do things to their city like that? So go back, take a look at those lessons, and see how much that mirrors what's going on today. All right, a little bit more positive news to end. SpaceX has launched American astronauts, NASA astronauts, into space. So what does that mean? Well, it's the first time that a private company has ever sent our astronauts into orbit. We have been piggybacking with the Russians to get up to the International Space Station for a long time, as we had cut back on NASA funds and NASA missions. So this is a partnership with private business and government, and many people feel that that's a good thing. If nothing else, it certainly is historic. All right, what should you be doing today? Well, history, all I want you guys doing is working on your test review. We'll test on Friday. It'll be our last test. I've cut back on things due to the situation that we've had. So take a look at the updated test review guide. Make sure that you get that done very detailed. You have key terms on that test. It doesn't mean to define the key terms. It means to know the information about those key terms. So there should be a lot written about each one of those, not just a definition, as many kids mistakenly do at times. Global, the only thing you have right now is to finish up those papers. So if you haven't done your paper yet, make sure you get that in. And that's about it, guys. Have a great Monday.